Party. I need brace yourselves for temporal displacement.
Did we make it? Are we back?
We're back.
Hello everyone and welcome back, one and all, to the Broken Meeple. Yes, you might have noticed that the video content has been somewhat, shall we say, staggered of late. Well, let me just give you some quick fire reasons. One, work has been absolute hell. This is my busy period of the year dealing with a company audit, and extended hours means less time to do videos. Secondly, a Windows upgrade with my PC decided that it was going to wipe out most of my music and video asset files on my software. This meant that I was unable to actually do any videos because I'd lost all the segment intros, the outros, the music stuff, you know, basically everything that you see that embellishes the videos and the podcast. All of that was gone, so I couldn't really do much with that. Thirdly, not a huge amount of games coming out lately. You know, this is the dry period for the market. You know, you only get so many games released that are interesting to review in that, so there just hasn't been a huge amount to do. 4, conventions. I've been to SawCon, I've been to AirCon, I've got StabCon coming up in a short while. There's been plenty to do from a weekend perspective. So, various reasons here and there as to why the videos have been a little bit staggered of late, as well as also getting a board game approved on the go. You can check out the first video for that, where I basically play through the Steam app Carcassonne on my PC with my headset on. It's a pilot episode, so I'm all up for constructive feedback how to make it better, but look forward to more videos in that series, starting with Patchwork. That one is on the way soon, also a Steam release. But enough about that. Enough with excuses. Let's get on with what I should be here to do, and that is to do reviews. Of course, there's going to be other stuff on this channel, but it's been a while since I've put out a video review. I've had to make do with written reviews whilst I've been getting my software back up to scratch. So, let's make a start with a nice simple game, actually. Starting off light, Topiary. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Essentially, hedge trimming. Or more like hedge sculpturing would be more exact. This is a really lightweight gateway game from Danny Devine. I hope that's Danny Devine, I think that's how you pronounce it. He is the artist and the designer of this game, and this is from Renegade Games, who have been kind of hitting fire with me lately. I mean, Ex Libri, for example, a really cool game. Sentient, I believe, was one of theirs as well. Again, another great game from them. So they're really starting to hit home with some pretty decent titles. But is Topiary one of them? Well, as you can see, pretty small box. Yeah, there's not a lot here, and there's not a lot in this box. You get essentially about, say, 30 to 35, 40 odd, something like that, tiles with various hedge sculptures on them, much like the cool, funky T-Rex one you can see on the front there. And you get a bunch of meeples and a score pad, well, scoreboard to be more precise. That's about it, really. It's quite a, minimalistic style game. But the idea of this is that it's designed to be a 2 to 4 player game that can be played in about 15 to 30 minutes max. And, well, we'll get onto that a bit later. So in Topiary, put very simply, you lay out a garden of tiles that are face down, and the middle one is flipped up, and then you are carefully putting your meeple visitors around the outside of this garden, either in a horizontal, well, I don't know how the hand's going to help, but you're looking downward, you're looking along the side, or you're at a diagonal. You're basically placing your meeples around the outside to take a view of the garden. What you're aiming to do in this game is to have each of your visitors see the most sculptures in their line of sight. So if you imagine that a tiny little sculpture in front of you will then have a bigger sculpture behind it, you will be able to see 2 sculptures in your line of sight. But imagine if you were, say, looking at a brick wall in front of you that was at least twice as tall as you, and there was a small a chair behind it. You wouldn't see the chair because the wall's in your way. Same premise with this. You want the smaller, hedge sculptures to be in front of you directly with the bigger ones behind it, so that you effectively get like lots of different sculptures in your field of vision. You've got several tiles and 5 for each particular sculpture, numbered 1 to 5 based on size, and all you literally do is place a meeple around the edge of the board, take a tile from the garden, replace it with either itself or one that you have in a small hand that you're keeping, and leave that one face up. That's pretty much your entire turn sequence. You rinse and repeat that until everyone's put out their visitors, and then you tally up the points in a couple of ways, such as, how many sculptures can you see, how many of the same type, and what's left in your hand. That's literally the game. I kid you not. One thing I will say about this is that it is one of the simplest gateway games I have ever seen in a setup that isn't a card game. It's so disturbingly simple. You pretty much have, I kid you not, in the rulebook, about half a page of the rulebook, which is not huge. I mean, the box is only this big. Half a page is dedicated to the actual turn sequence, okay? In terms of place a visitor and take a tile. A full page is dedicated to scoring. Yeah, twice as much space is required to tell you how to score the game than it is to actually play the game. And setup is a complete cinch as well. You basically just you take out 1 or 2 of the suits depending on player count, dish out the tiles, give them their 1 meeples, there you go. That's pretty much it. Such a lightweight, easy to learn game. This is one of those ones that I can, already recommend you put in something like a board game cafe or a board game library, because you don't need anyone to teach the game. You could literally take this box, open it, teach yourself how to go, and in 5 minutes you'll be gone. Literally 5 minutes, and in about 20 minutes you'll be done with your first game. So you can have this from scratch, done and dusted, in 30 minutes or less. That's pretty good going for any gateway game, and it's not something I see very often, so I gotta give props to Renegade for that. In terms of the components, you've got some very nice pretty artwork with the sculptures themselves. You've got some of swans, whales, little bobble trees, a T-Rex, which is awesome. I want a T-Rex hedge in my garden right out there. That'd be great, just towering over all the other fences or something I could see. Fortunately, my gardening skills are somewhat limited, so yeah, that ain't gonna happen. But the artwork is very nice, it's very cutesy, so there's a lot of green. Green's my favourite colour, so that's a plus. But it's just very nice and cute artwork. The meeples themselves are nice little wooden meeples of different types, and I've never seen this before. Correct me if I'm wrong if a game has done this, but this is the first time I have seen wheelchair meeples. I'm not joking. 4 different types of visitors are in there to distinguish, as well as player colour. So at least colourblind people can play this without too much trouble. But the green meeples are wheelchair ones. I kid you not, it is a meeple sitting in a wheelchair. I mean, nothing wrong with that. Like I say, anybody can visit parks, but most games wouldn't even think of doing that. To see it here is just, I don't know, it's just a welcome buzz. It doesn't affect the whole verdict or anything, but I just thought, that's just a nice touch. Just to sort of cater for all, because we've got games around that are doing this whole like male and female diversity thing, but to have like disability represented as well, just in your meeples, I thought that was pretty good going. Unfortunately, the component quality doesn't go all the way to the finish line. There is a bit of an annoyance with the scoring board, where the board is there, it is literally there just to score you at the end of the game. You don't have any intermittent scoring, but you have this tiny little token to represent your colour or meeple in order to place it on the board and score it. It's a little bit of an annoyance, really. I would have rather they actually just gave you a spare meeple and told you to put it on the board. If you've got less than 4 players, that's what I do anyway, so, because you don't have to use all the visitors. So it's just a bit like, why do we have to use this tiny little token? Could you have not just put 1 more meeple in the box for each player? Easier to see, less fiddly on the scoreboard, just would have been nice and simple to rectify. But there's a small niggle. Otherwise, components are they're decent enough. There's nothing stellar, but there's nothing bad. But the artwork is very cute. It's very pretty on the table, and doesn't take up a lot of table space either. Now, a 15-minute game, you might think, well, there's not really much to do in here. Not entirely so, because yes, you're putting your visitors around the edge, but the tiles are all face down to begin with. And you will flip a tile face up when you take it from there, and you'll replace it with one from your hand. So you've got a little bit of hand management going on, but you've also got the fact that you're placing your meeples in hopefully strategic locations to get the best view. And of course, this is a communal garden, so your opponents are also trying to do this. You can't place your meeple where someone else is, so they might take the best spots before you. And you've got to be careful when you start setting yourself up with those big high value trees that will get, so hedges or whatever, that will get you the most points, because your opponents can try and nick those as well, or they might shove something in your way. It's no good setting yourself up with this really good 2, 3, 4 and 5 setup hedge in a row that's going to get you loads of points if you've left the space right next to your meeple uncovered, so your opponent can literally just go yoink, there's a 4, oh dear, you can't see beyond most of the hedges anymore. So there's a lot of take that in this game. You can really screw up other players, or you can further your own game. Chances are you'll do both without even realizing it. But for 15 to 20 minutes, there's no hardship. It's not like it's a really mean game or anything like that. It's you're pretty much done and dusted with any bad thoughts you had of getting screwed over. The turns are lightning fast. You place your meeple, take a tile, replace. That's it. Few seconds, if that. Some people might AP briefly when sort of thinking, oh, is that row better than that one? But it doesn't really take that long. I mean, if you imagine that you're using somewhere around usually about 6 to 8 meeples in a game, then you've only got to place out those 6 to 8 meeples. That's it. The turns are quick. The game is quick. This is just super fast and super simple. The scoring itself is pretty straightforward. You score for all the trees that have got numbers printed on the tile, so it's easy enough to tell what scores. You've just got to go from the lowest number up and see if there's any that block line of sight. You've then got bonus points for if you've got the same type of hedge in your view, and then your hand is a little bit more fiddly, but not too bad. It essentially scores you for tiles in your hand as long as your visitors can see a hedge of greater value. And I like that little extra bit of scoring, because when you've got those tiles in your hand, you're sort of thinking, well, why don't I get the best ones out now? Not quite, because then you're not giving yourself many points for the end game scoring. But then if you hang on to 2 big tiles in your hand, you get to a point where the tile's going to be worthless because your visitors aren't seeing the bigger tile down there on the ground, and sometimes you might want that tile somewhere in the garden so that you can get more points from it than it just being in your hand. It's a clever little system. Now, granted, there is a bit of luck in this game because you are drawing tiles blind. You don't know what tiles are where. There's no way to get an indication of there's a 5 there, there could be a 5 over there. No, I mean, the 5s could literally be in one group if you wanted. So you're going to have to accept there's a little bit of luck with the drawing of tiles, but having a hand size of about 3 tiles does mitigate that to an extent. So it's not just complete luck of the draw. And of course, for a 15-20 minute filler, well, what do you expect, really? It's going to have luck in it. There's no rolling of dice, it's just luck of the tile draw. So there's not a huge amount else to say about this game. There's only 15 minutes worth of game to talk about. The components are decent, the artwork is cute, it's lightning fast, it does make you think without any kind of brain burning whatsoever. It is literally a pick up and play game. It pretty much does what you'd expect a light filler game to do. It does what it says on the tin, or the hedge in this case. It's just a nice, simple gateway game. Not much else to say, really. It's good, not like the best ever. I mean, I would actually play this again if I played it, once in the night, and I'd say, all right, we've played it, we've still got a bit of spare time. You want to play it again one more time? Maybe like a couple of times I would play it in a row, and then I'd be like, okay, we can put it away. I'll bring it out on the next time. I mean, we're talking a 20 to 30 minute filler tops. This will easily, sit nicely in that filler game category, particularly if you've just got people who have never seen a game before. You want to introduce them to the hobby, this one. In fact, I think I'll probably put this on the starting tile at some point because it's just that, it fits so well into that gateway game category. So, yeah, does what it says on the tin. Not much else to say, really. Personally, give it about a 7. It's not going to blow me away. There are gateway games I prefer, but I think for what it is, for the simplicity, for its cuteness, there's definitely an audience for this. There's definitely a reason to have it in your collection. It's not an expensive game. Renegade are still hitting it out of the park with decent games all round. The last few releases they've done have been pretty solid, and I look forward to see what they have in the future, and maybe to see what this Danny Devine character has in store for the future, because, you know, I'll have to look him up. You know, is this his first design, or is there going to be more from him? We'll see. So, that's it from the Broken Meeple. I'm back. Time to get on with some more videos. So, I'll see you on the next episode. Like and share this on Facebook and Twitter. Sign up and subscribe to the video, the podcast, whatever you can. Subscribe to the Patreon campaign. Give me some hands. You know, and leave any feedback you want for what you'd like to see in the show. Any constructive feedback. I'm all ears. So take care. See you on the next episode. And remember, no matter whose head you're trimming up, it's only a game. Take care, everyone.